Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Tafari, and today I really want to talk about this Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay. So a couple of outlets, IGN, one of my favorite YouTubers, Skill Up, they got to play about 4 to 5 hours of the game, and so there's hell of footage of different driving sequences, shooting, conversations. Not enough conversations for my liking, but good enough. You can kind of see that there's branches, and what's cool about the game is that there's so much customizable, not only with your character, but with the way your character interacts with the world and other people. Most games have multiple, not most games, but some games have multiple endings. But my boy right here got 3 openings, 3 different places you could start the game at. So every time you replay the game, you have different choices right from the rip. Do I want to start out as a nomad? Do I want to start out as a corporal? Do I want to start out as what was the other one? A street boy, street kid. So it'll be interesting to see how different those play. I think when I get it, man, that's tough. I mean, corporate life sounds dope. I mean, I kind of like the lavish things in life. You know what I mean? So I might be gravitating toward the corporate life. I don't know. I want to see that nice level of it, but I could see myself playing over multiple times. You never know, I could be missing out on so much going the corporate route. So I mean, that's what's so interesting about this game, and I just really can't fucking wait. Another thing is this, I don't know if you guys have heard about this penis slider, the genitalia fixer, you know what I mean? So, if you're having an issue in real life, maybe you're not measuring up, no pun intended, now you can click that slider over to 9,000, you know what I mean? Now you got big dick energy in the game. But I was listening to the developers talk. I believe IGN had interviewed them, and the developer, for one, their enthusiasm for the game is contagious. These boys are in love with their game. You know what I mean? This is their baby, and it's about to be my baby soon. But so what they were saying about romance, which is pretty interesting. So when they were talking about the genitalia, it kind of rolled over into romance. And so it almost sounds like, and I could be misunderstanding, but it almost sounds like you might run into chicks that don't actually like the monster dick, right? Maybe they're more about your personality and whatnot, and so on and so forth. Now, I didn't see that. I'm not sure if I saw that there was a charisma stat. But so when I say that they're more interested in your personality, it might have more to do with maybe the backstory that you chose for yourself, nomad, corporate, or street kid, or it could have to do with maybe your actions that you've taken, because it sounds like a lot of your actions will be reflected, and it's going to be a world that really kind of revolves around your choices, man. A game with a lot of player choice, that's probably one of the best games. So I remember a long time ago, I heard Will Wright. Will Wright is the dude that made The Sims, or he was one of the, he's one of the masterminds behind the original Sims. And so I remember he used to put on these keynotes. He's a very well-spoken dude. I love Will Wright. But anyway, he said something about possibility space, right? And so when you give the player choice, it kind of expands the possibility space, because now there's all these different possibilities. I mean, clearly, right? And so, and I just love games that push the boundaries. And so when they say that this is an ambitious game, that's what they're saying. I mean, how do you fit all these different branching storylines? And they are going to have multiple endings as well as multiple beginnings. So it's no two people are going to have the same scenario. And so that's what you're seeing out of these outlets that did their gameplay footage for the game. So you're seeing that, one chick from IGN, I believe, what did she end up doing? She ended up doing all as many side quests as she could, right? And then the other dude, I believe his name is Brian McCaffrey. But Brian, he ended up trying to just push through the story, push, right? And then what Skill Up ended up doing was ended up doing the 3 starting areas. And so each of them, they lost time a little bit in their own way, or they spent their time. They didn't lose time. I'm sure they enjoyed every second of it. I know they did. That's what they were pretty much saying. No one's got negative things to say. People say that maybe the driving's a little clunky, but man, I'm just super excited for this game. The interiors of these cars, the area in general, man. It reminds me of when I first played Morrowind. When I first played Morrowind, these dust storms, these weird kind of insect creatures you would ride on, Khajiits in general. Dude, this world was so new and so fresh to me that even though the graphics weren't, they weren't no Cyberpunk 2077 friggin' graphics, but I was still lost in that game. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, have that same feeling about games that don't have the best graphics or whatever. Like, it's like if the world is fleshed out in the minor details, you almost overlook these. But you don't have to overlook that with Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? Cyberpunk, it's doing it all. It's got the little details on point. It's got the graphics on point. The shooting, it seems like the shooting, combat, and driving is more akin to, like, I would say, maybe a little bit more Fallout-y. And I mean, once again, I didn't play, but I'm watching people play and I'm hearing their reactions and their takes on it. And so, it seems like the combat's a little Fallout-y, and the driving, it sounds like the driving's more like, I don't know if anybody played that Scarface game back in the day, but it sounds like the driving's a little bit more akin to Scarface, where the cars are a little bit more boaty. And I think that was the game that had that kind of controversy, if you could even call it a controversy. It's definitely something you can get over. Scarface was a fun ass game. But man, I'm just so glad to be alive in this time where developers are actually going to be able to realize their visions. Like, this feels like, if you said, man, I'm gonna make a Cyberpunk game, and whatever you would see in your mind, this is it, if not better. I mean, this is what I want out of a video game. I want to spend hours in the video game, dude. I hate buying a game like, like Pokemon, right? And like, it doesn't fill up the time like it used to. Like, I remember playing Red version for so long. It felt like there was content on content. What's the one, whatever Pokemon that had the one bitch that used rollout? That shit had content on content. Nowadays, games be coming out with like no content. You'd be mad and anemic on the content, but not this game. These guys played for 4 to 5 hours. No one had a similar story to tell. No one.